Hello, so this is my presentation on my project that I planned, which was renovating my new house. We moved into this house. Um, we moved into this house last summer, at the very end of the summer, right as I was kind of moving to college, so we didn't really get to settle in very much. My parents live there with my little sister. It's I got a picture of Minnehaha Falls because it's right by that park in that kind of neighborhood by the Mississippi River. It's kind of fun area, but the house is very old and there's definitely different problems that we had to face with these renovations. So kind of the scope of the project would be we want a new kitchen. The kitchen was very outdated. New dishwasher, flooring, and backsplash was for sure our main priorities. So that's kind of everything we included in the scope for that part. And then also the basement. It's a very old basement, not finished at all. There was different rooms that were very old, very cement, a lot of cement stuff, and it was also very cold, so we were thinking about um possibly just kind of putting different furniture down there to kind of make it more of a like a roomy and nice area down there for sure. So how did this start? So going into it, we weren't sure kind of what things were realistic and what things weren't. So we hired hired one of our close family friends as a he does contracting stuff and he works on a lot of houses. So he was a good person to bring in. He looked through the house and saw the different things that we um had available and maybe different walls we want to take down and how that would be realistic based on load bearing stuff and things like that. So initial challenge was we did want to take out a lot of walls. It was kind of an old style house, very small rooms. We want to open out a lot of the main area, but we did find that um early on we found out we couldn't take down the main wall, which had a huge chimney in the middle of it. We wanted to open that up to the living room, the kitchen and living room, but we found out that wouldn't be possible. So we started to maybe look towards other possibilities of opening up this other corner room that's by the living room. And on a little note, my parents have renovated a house in the past, so it was perfect for me to work with them, um, and kind of learn from their expertise on. And they've worked in houses that they've lived into, so they're very familiar with kind of the work-life balance, I guess, of living in a house you're trying to change a lot. So kind of as we moved into the project, I say the halfway point I would say is when we started to take down a lot of the wallpaper and things like that. Um, there was a lot of stuff also in the basement, like I wrote basement clutter. After we moved in, a lot of stuff just got pushed into the basement and it was floor to ceiling high and with all this stuff. And we hadn't put it away in like the right spot and it was very easy just to leave it there. But we decided that would be kind of one of our first things we'd work on too. So once we started to open up a lot of that stuff in the basement, um, it started to give us the opportunity to actually work on some of these things that they're not just hidden behind a lot of our just boxes and things like that. And like I said, load bearing walls. Once we figured that all out, we figured out we weren't going to take down that main wall. We are going to take down the wall that goes into another room that's off the living room to expand the living room a little bit. And then yeah, like we started to tear down all the wallpaper and kind of work through painting and kind of the different challenges that go through that through some of the wallpaper was over like bad spots on the wall, so we had to put like tack stuff in there to make it smooth before we could paint it. And on another note, yeah, we worked with a family friend for house inspections. That same friend could come in and help us um see if everything was going well and see that we were kind of following the code enough to think of and like the different rules of the city. So some things that we, like I talked about, some things that we had to change. Um, so we couldn't open up the living room from the kitchen. It was a load bearing wall, and we tried to work with that. We tried to work with the our family friend that we worked with a lot to see if there's any possibilities, but at the end, we could not figure it out, and it would have been a very expensive project to um find different studs around to support the house. So we decided we'd move away from that to keep the scope very limited. And then we wanted to finish the entire basement. However, we had to change that because as we started to move on with the project, we realized that there's two back rooms in our basement that will have to be storage either way. So we didn't want to have to finish all the flooring, paint all the walls and all that stuff when it won't even be a room that we go into anyways, and it'll have a closed door and we'll have all our stuff in there. So it's just little wooden um pallets that kind of just hold everything up there. So we thought that we would just leave that. We don't need to expand the project more than it needs to be, and we'll finish the rooms that we'd actually use. So that was something that we had to change with. So I worked with changing the scope on that. So how did the project end? I have a picture of us at the game 7 of the Timberwolves game. We had our church group over, and the guy actually with his hands raised on the left is the guy who we worked with through the house. So this is the living room. That wall on the left side was the one I was talking about that we couldn't remove, and then the one um on the right side, there's that open space there. You can't really see it, but that's the wall that we removed, and we're that kind of expanded the living room. So how did it end? I would say that it was a successful project. I learned a lot from working with my parents and having them obviously close with me. And I'm going to be living there this summer too. So having me being close to the project helped me a lot. Um, with kind of buying into the goal of wanting the project to succeed, and really going to visit the house just for fun and going home to visit my sister, but then also working on the house. So it's kind of good to have the project mixed with my personal like family life. And it was a good place to start as a project manager. I think these skills will definitely um I'll take with me as I move on to bigger projects and obviously with through stuff with work. Also just working with my family was cool because I wasn't like embarrassed to ask any questions or anything like that. So it's good to kind of just dive into the project and have them help me by helping them. So I think it was um a big success overall. So as we define success, um, we the goal for the project was to finish before the summer because we wanted to kind of move towards landscaping stuff in the summer because there's some other different issues with that. It's a whole different thing. We didn't want to work on that in this project, but the project that I managed was to finish the everything on the inside that we wanted to work on and have that done by the summer. And the date was when me and my sister get back from school, we both finish in the same week. So I'm still in school and the project is finished. So we succeeded on that. We stayed. I had a 1 week slack time from the end of the project to when I'm coming back, and we didn't even need that. We finished right when we were expected. So this is the picture of my sister going to Minnehaha Falls. We went this last week, so we enjoyed the weather, and now the house is finished. So hopefully we can kind of get into some of the whole landscaping scheme of things now that this project's over and kind of work on getting a fence up so our dog can be outside and things like that. And there's a lot of different things that we didn't include in the project that still needs to be done. But for the project that we had itself, it was definitely a success. So lessons I learned is the importance of deadlines. Having these deadlines every week that we work through really helped me a lot, and having everyone buy into those deadlines too. If you start to kind of not respect the deadline as much as you should, that will definitely bring the project back. But we all really wanted to get this done by summer, and we could tell that the whole family was bought in because a lot of my sister worked with them too, and my dad did a lot of the work as obviously as well. So we all really wanted to happen, and that helped us a lot. So the importance of deadlines, I was really cemented into me for that. And then also small setbacks. There was a lot of small things that weren't that important, but it was like, oh, we ran out of tiles for the flooring. Or maybe another one was our dishwasher couldn't fit the outlet and it was too far away from where we wanted to put it. So these small things were like, oh, we could just do this, figure it out later. We can just figure it out tomorrow. We don't have to go to Home Depot and buy something right now. So some things like that were a smaller setback, but we made it a bigger setback because we didn't want to deal with it right away. And I talked to my dad at this about this at the very end, and he said he kind of wishes those small things don't become big things, and you can just fix it right then because the problem doesn't go away, and you have to deal with it eventually. So that was kind of a little lesson is there's obviously little things, but you have to kind of stay on top of them so they don't um take or slow down the project. So thanks for watching. This project taught me a lot, and I hope you learned something while listening. Thanks.